What's up, everybody? How are you? I apologize for the delay. It is what it is. I was on some CP time tonight. This is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my man Richard Williams in the building with me. I don't know if anybody's joining with us, but we're gonna go a strong hour and get it out of here, and we're gonna chop it up with you. Um, One thing, there's some stuff on my mind that I really have to get off, and I'm glad Rich is here because I know he will articulate everything that I want to say or feel about certain things, and he will just bring you the real for himself. Um, Shout out to the sponsors there on the bottom of the screen. Hey, Stefania, shout out to everybody that's chiming in that will be chiming in with us. It's a hot one. I hope everything. I hope everybody is staying warm and cool and safe. And first, without further ado, I can't go another step without wishing my dog a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Rich, baby.
Appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you, man. So, did you have a good time for your birthday?
Yeah, I went out with the lady and some friends. George and Jackie. We went out.
Oh,
We
oh,
went
that's
out
what's
to
up.
Yeah, we went out to this hibachi joint.
Oh,
Up
okay.
in what is that? City Island.
Oh, good for you, man. Good for you,
Yeah,
man.
nothing big, something small.
No, but listen, it's not how big it is. It's the people that you with. You know what I'm trying to say?
No question.
Yeah. With that and saying all of that, I want to get into some stuff. I posted a picture yesterday. Um, I mean, crime is off the chain. Listen, I've been reading the paper, I've been checking all the sites and stuff like that. Crime is just crazy. It is what it is. We'll get more into that on the crime aspect. But I posted a picture on Facebook yesterday, and I'm sure you didn't see it because you were
Yeah, I
having
didn't
a
see it.
celebratory thing. But I will show some people the picture, and I want your take on this. Um, it was very disheartening to me to see what I saw. So I'm walking. I'm in the Bronx, you know, and when I parked my car, there wasn't anybody there. But I got out the car and I saw a bunch of needles. Hey, Colin. Hey, Greer. What's going on? I saw a bunch of needles, right? So I was like, oh, okay. Well, maybe this is where they shoot and throw it. I come out the location around 6 o'clock. I'll be fair, around 6 o'clock. And this is what I see.
In the PM.
Yeah, in the PM. Now, when I went there around 3, there wasn't there. So I don't know if you can see that, everybody. It's like the dawn of the day,
I
right?
can't see it.
Yeah. People are just sitting on the curb, sprawled out. You see, Rich?
You said it was in the Bronx.
Yeah, yeah. But see now,
Is that like around 149th Street?
yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
So now, with
Over
that
by
being said,
AutoZone and
so with that being said, and saying all of that, I posted the picture because I was very, disheartened by what I saw, and I felt it was just like a travesty to see people back in the ways of it used to be, Rich. Just laying in the street and just like the methadones, the heroin. For those that don't know, that's the way the black people say it, the heroin. You know what I'm saying? We can say heroin.
heroin.
Yeah,
We don't say
heroin.
heroin. We
Say
say
heroin.
heroin.
You know what I'm saying? And it was just crazy to me. And I was just like, and then now I'm traveling in the hood and around our neighborhoods, and I'm really now visually seeing this, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is so 1985, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now I want your thoughts on that, but the question that I will propose to you is no. Well, I'll give me your thoughts on that, and then I'll propose the question after. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, that area has always been like that. There's nothing changed from the time you're talking about. They got tents over there. If you go anywhere around that area, over there, St. Mary's Park, around that area,
Yeah, yeah.
It's always been a high heroin neighborhood, and they have people that go over there to do needle exchanges. You know, so it's a group of organizations that goes there and gives them fresh needles and collects the used needles and all of that. But like you said, man, I seen them broad daylight in public, not even hiding. You know, strapped up, vein poking out, ready to hit it.
And that's crazy to me. You know, that's crazy to me.
But
To
I'm
see
telling you,
some.
Bill, that's been like that. It ain't stopped. You just
No,
probably haven't been over there frequented that area, but that joint's been like that. And right over there where AutoZone is, that's where all the street mechanics are. And they pokers, man. They be in there. That's how they get they fix. They fix your car and then to shoot up.
yeah, man,
But
and
that's
what's
not
crazy.
all of them. But a lot of them, they got a little tent over there on the side. It's a tent they got on the side over there.
Yeah, man. I mean, it blew my mind because I guess you know we travel.
But Bill, you gotta think about it like this too. I mean, you got certain countries, like if you go to Amsterdam, the use of heroin is legal. And they have designated areas for you to do it, to use it, to
Mm,
buy it. And the question is, do you treat it as a medical condition, or do you treat it as a crime? You know,
yeah, no. So I mean, my thing is, it's gotten worse. Now, listen, I've never been a fan of Giuliani. I say that with love and affection and conviction. But the one thing that he did do was quality of life. Getting rid of that quality of life, people would
he
get.
did it in certain locations. He cleaned up Midtown so they could get tourism back.
That
He
yeah, no, he did do
he
that, but he
he
also did
took
it up
nah, Bill. He
in the
took
neighborhood.
everything.
The reason why I'm telling you he did it in the neighborhoods because I understood where people were making arrests for panhandle. I mean, not panhandling. Oh yeah, panhandling, squeegee. Certain people, like I just saw on my block, like they're doing car stops, but you got people walking around here looking like the Dawn of the Dead, like, and I'm messed up on this, and I'm like, really, this is so you're doing it. You're back to the 3 and 1s but you're not worried about the the quality of life again. And the quality of life, I just got a thing. I was just reading in the paper. I'll go to it where they were saying that. Let me see if I got it. This is 50th Street. They were saying how it is downtown on 49th Street and 50th Street. Over more than 3 years since New York's criminal justice reform collided with pandemic dislocations, the stretch of Broadway and the surrounding blocks and the subway stations have become a magnet for disorder and danger. That's a, and this is a nearby residents weigh in on the relative dangers of shopping at or even walking by one store rather than the other. Say a lot about New York's deterioration. You know what I'm saying? Like I guess I put up the post yesterday. In your leisure, holler at it. I mean, look at it. People were like, yo, they was like, yo, shouting at the mayor, like, yo, you partying, but what are you doing about this? So my question to you is, what what if we sat at the table with somebody? What did we say, Rich?
Well, it's got to be a crackdown on that kind of behavior. I mean, if you're gonna have a drug habit, you know, at least you go to your house, go someplace where you know you could do that and not affect the community. But you got a homeless population that ain't being dealt with. You got this opioid and heroin and all other kind of drug epidemic going on.
I heard they
And
got a
yeah,
new drug out here now called Fang or Tang. I don't know what the hell this shit is called.
yeah, it's some kind of drug they use for animals, and it's crazy. I mean, you got people that's whipping up all kind of shit, man. I mean, when I was young, remember that glue they used to sniff?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
smoking in a jar. They took
yeah.
that out of schools because the kids was getting high for that. You know, you got people that's going to get high off of all kinds of shit. But the question is, why are they getting high? You know,
You know, and I'm gonna propose this question back to the doctor when we have her. But so you're saying this is back to mental illness? Is that where you're going with
no,
this?
I'm not saying it's mental illness. I'm saying is you got people that are living today and don't know how to make it from day to day. You know, I mean, you can call it mental illness, but to me, it's trauma. You know, people are suffering from trauma. You know, shit is going on in your life that you can't deal with. A lot of low income people, they don't go to psychiatrists and psychologists. You
Yeah,
know, they looking at that. That's money. People with money do that. You know, and their condition has become normalized. I mean, you become normalized by the shit that's going on out here. Like, and somebody say, "Oh, that's all your problem is." You know, there's nothing normal about what's going on to the people that are really at the bottom of the barrel that the rich people are sucking the life out of to make a buck. I mean, you got people that are wealthy enough to end poverty. One person can end poverty in the world. I mean, people, this shit is by design, Bill.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. I agree with you,
and
brother.
and and these rich people measure their success based on the 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 shit that people are going through.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right, right. Yeah,
because
let me just
all of the shit that we go through, they can make money off of medicine,
yeah,
drugs.
like
You know,
Stefania said. She said all used as coping mechanisms to deal with their trauma and problems. She said, "Oh, addiction is addiction, whether it's drugs, food, or alcohol." She also said, like Kensington. Yeah, I mean, I've never been to it. I've heard about it. I've asked Malika about it because she's from Philly. I don't know anybody, but everybody talking about it's like apocalyptic zombie town. But you know what's so funny? Just like I was talking to another friend on social media yesterday, everybody it's in states all over. So you know, red, white, blue, green, whatever states you talking about, whatever political party you with, you know, people gonna blame it on the Dems because they kind of changed the rules and regs. You know, I mean, we're talking also too about petty larceny that they're not prosecuting on that. So I'm just saying it's just a manifestation of chaos out here right now. Go ahead, Rich. I'll yield back.
yeah. I mean, what do you do about it? You got to address all of the conditions that are. This shit ain't happenstance. This shit is caused by the elite. They want to make sure that we're suffering so they can get paid. I always say there's money in chaos. You
No,
know,
real talk. Yeah,
these people are getting paid off these so-called illegal opioids, but they making them. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
big pharma, all these fucking companies that make money off of legal drugs are making them off the illegal drugs too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I mean, how do we turn a blind eye to that shit? I mean, it's just like that whole shit with Kyrie. You know, it's kind of off topic, but when Kyrie was talking about that book, everybody jumped on him. But then you had the motherfucker that was selling it in Amazon,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah. The owner.
he
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he getting paid off the shit, and nobody said nothing to him. There was not one thing that was said against that man. And then
Yeah,
you had people like Shaq that didn't even know he was involved with it. He talking against it, and he making money off of it.
yeah, yeah,
You know, when you making money off of shit, they tell you to shut the fuck up.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And you know what's so funny? It takes. I've learned this a long time ago that, from people in my life that have told me. They said once you speak out, people will sit there and put the battery in your back pocket. I'm paraphrasing now, but then once you speak out, and then the powers that be come at you, watch how the people that put the battery in your back pocket, you know, slide to the left and be like, "Oh, you know what I'm saying? He talking for himself." You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Because they don't,
exactly.
you know. So Sharon says the chaos is real. we need to look at how we treat each other. Our culture is not uplifting anymore. In my opinion, there is no emotional outlet. Absolutely. She also says it is it's it's it is the trauma. People do not realize how much trauma is experienced in the ghetto. Sharon, that's an excellent point, Rich, and I'll go to you on this. Stefania also said also used as a coping. Oh yeah, she did say that. Um, I'll go to you with Sharon's statement. She said it's the trauma. People do not realize how much trauma is experienced in the ghetto. I get that. What's your thoughts on that? Because trauma is problematic in the white communities and in communities. I mean, how they deal with it is different. Being, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, okay, their trauma, they pick up a gun and go shoot up a church or a school or a store. But the bottom line is we all recognize crack, heroin, all these drugs. People, officers use this to lock people up back in the days. When it got into the white communities, all of a sudden it was like, oh, we got a problem in this world. What are we going to do about it? You know what I'm trying to say? But to get back to your point, what do you think about what Sharon said about it's trauma? People do not realize how much trauma is experienced in the ghetto.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I opened up my statement with, is that it's about trauma. People give it a name all the time, man. But at the end of the day, who's really suffering? You know, we suffer from it. We get the blame for it. You know, and somebody getting paid for it.
Yeah.
That's the crazy shit. We the ones getting all ends of it, and at the end of the day, we get blamed for it, while somebody else is getting a big ass paycheck.
Yeah.
So what are we supposed to do?
Because the powers that be don't experience what the average John and Jane Doe experience, walking down the street. You know what I'm saying? They're walking with security, or they're in high rises where it's that's not even being let on that block. So my thing is, like, what's your feelings like when you see this kind of energy? Do you go into Dickie mode? You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, because I'm a go into B fly mode. You know what I'm saying? It takes it back to the neighborhood. Like yesterday, I was on the block and I'm just looking at a dude, and I'm watching him to make sure I thought he picked up a cigarette off the street, but he was standing next to the car and he was smoking it. But I thought he was like looking in this person's car, and I'm like, yo, I know this cat ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? I hope he doesn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm from a block that has a big history on handling this business, and I'm a product of that environment. Because rest in peace to the little young G that lost his life on a riverbank that lives in my building, his family. But that's a whole nother story. But um, things have changed right now, and if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, it was on the news. Young boy got shot in Riverbank multiple times on the basketball court. That young man lived in my building. That's a whole other story. After it all comes to fruition, I will speak on it. But right now, I don't do that. Shout out to my man Vance too. His mother just passed away, so I know he's dealing with it. I got to call him back after the show. Uh, what's up, Kendra? I see you, cuz, in the building. But I know I jumped back and forth. But what I'm trying to say, Rich, is that when I see these people, a lot of times I don't get into the helping hand mode. I get into the like, do I have to come down to your mentality? And that's sad because the bottom line is not everybody needs to be met with the same kind of look they have. You know what I'm saying? And I like, what are we doing about how do we hold our politicians accountable for this? You know what I'm trying to say? Go ahead.
Well, politicians work for us. You know, so I mean, most people are in the business of victim blaming. We don't really look to the cause and why this shit is happening. We just say it's happening, and these are the people. Let's blame them. It's victim blaming, you know. So the question is, what do? We don't point up. We point down. We point down at the bottom.
And what's this new drug out? They call it. What is it called? Tang or something? What is it? I forgot. Anybody knows? Because do you know what the new no drug? I heard this new drug is mixed, and I heard it is just like running through people like wildfire. And let me tell you something. But you know what was so sad yesterday? Dude was sitting in front of my car, right? So now I'm already getting into my mode. There's multiple people around. You know, like I said, I showed the picture. There's multiple people. It's on my Facebook page for those that want to see what I'm talking about. So I'm coming. I'm getting ready. I'm just all in defense mode. Not that they're threatening, but I'm just prepared for the worst, right? So I get there and I say, "Excuse me," right? Dude didn't hear me, so I said, "Excuse me." So dude says, "Oh, okay." He says, "Sorry." He pulls away. He moves out the way. I say, "Thank you." He says, "You're welcome." You know what that told me is no matter what drug he's on, he's old enough to have manners. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, say I went to to that point, like he has manners because he didn't have to say anything. He didn't have to move. Thank God he did. But you're sitting in a tree well in a bed of needles, and they're all spread out. Now I heard, like I said, on the way it used to be back on Lexington and 124th in Lenox right now. I heard it's a catastrophe. It's like Walking Dead. And yesterday on that post, people have from around the country have stated that it is in their cities too. Red, white, blue, green, whatever cities you're in, that it's there. So my thing is, what have we done? Well, I know what I don't know. Some people will say it's the lefts. Some people say it's reform, it's change. I I don't know what
Hey,
I want.
hey, hey, but Bill, you know something? And this is the crazy thing. I mean, because working in politics with the assemblymen, we
Mhm.
get people all the time that come to us and complain about drug programs, treatment, and rehabs in their neighborhoods, right? And you want the street cleaned up, but they got to go somewhere, you know.
Mhm.
So when you try to house them and then give them treatment, they don't want the treatment center in the neighborhood. But overwhelmingly, it's put in the low income neighborhoods, but it has to go somewhere, you know. These
Yeah, because the
rich
bottom line
people
is,
have country clubs for drug treatment, you know. These motherfuckers literally go to a country club, you know. But if you want to get funding and all of that, the wealthy keep it out of their neighborhoods because they can afford to put their people in a resort. So you're not gonna put that shit in their neighborhood. So we're gonna flood your neighborhood with drug treatment, put your shit right outside where they shoot needles, you know. You inside trying to get treatment, but if you walk out the door, it's right out there in front of you.
yeah,
I
bro. I
mean,
mean,
I
it's
mean,
sad that
it's
I
it's
mean,
we
but
we we dealing we are treating the symptoms of a problem, right? The use of drugs and alcohol and all of these things, they're just the symptoms of what the real problem is, you know. And you have rich white kids, I mean children of rich white people that actually make money off of this shit, and they kids see it, and maybe that's their coping mechanism, you know, is to get high too, you know.
yeah, I mean, well, we all, I mean, everybody has a vice, no matter what it is. If it's food, cigarettes, whatever your vice is, sports, TV binging, whatever it is, somebody has vices. Now, those vices take a hold of you that you can't, uh, where that vice becomes an addiction. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, what you're trying to say, what you're saying, and I'm watching this, and I'm looking at these vices that have taken these people over, whatever the dudes, because like Sharon said, she says, I think the culture of the country needs an overhaul. Absolutely. But you know what's so funny? A problem leads to a vice, and then once you get to that vice, it it takes over the vice. I mean, it takes over the problem, and now you have two problems. Because if you can't pay your bills and you start drinking or you're getting high, now you're drinking to forget about the bills, but the bills are still there. But now you got another problem with the drinking. And then from the drinking, and I'm just using drinking as an example, everybody. And now the drinking can affect your relationship at home, wife, husband, children, whomever. Then it starts affecting your work because now you're sipping at work and you're doing things. So it goes, i.e., with the drugs and everything. And then until it comes to affect you to a point where now you can't be, you're not functional anymore. You know what I'm saying? You're unfunctional. So I just think, like I said, I was so disheartened yesterday by what I saw, and I've seen the city come from what it was. You know what I'm saying? From quality of life, and then gentrification, where we were able to meet a lot of beautiful people of different ethnicities, and brought the property value of our communities back up. It's a shame that we didn't do that on ourselves, but the thing is, they did it, and we embraced them because we couldn't stop them. And Rich, you know, I know they renovated. They're renovating my building right now as I speak, and you know, it's only going to be for the haves, not for the have-nots. You know, they talk about the Section 8s and the people like that, but there's a bunch of people that if you can't afford those numbers, you got to go somewhere else. And I don't know where they're pushing them, but it's a different thing. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Richard Williams. If you're watching it on Facebook, just go to YouTube when you get a chance and subscribe to it. Let us know what you think. Appreciate it. My man, Flip, he said, Philip said, what about the clinic safe place that gives out the needles and they sell drugs right outside on 125th Street between Lenox and Park Avenue? Yeah, I mean, that's what we're talking about. So you're giving these needles on a hygiene level, but they're throwing the needles in the tree wells and on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like Rich, if we sat down with the powers that be, what would you tell them? What would you want me to say with you? Because I'm gonna think about some stuff. You know?
Well, honestly, I don't know what to say to them other than, we need to dig deep into the real problem that's making people want to do what they're doing, you know. And like I said, man, people are dealing with a lot of stuff, especially in the inner cities. I mean, it's just so much shit that Bill is overwhelming, and it's not coming from one direction. It's like trying to fight the whole karate school.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, you
yeah.
got punches coming from you in all different directions. It's not you not squaring up to one thing or two guys or three guys. You fighting the whole fucking school, you know? So, and they all got different disciplines. One nigga got judo, one nigga got fucking wrestling, the other motherfuckers MMA, and they coming at you with all these different directions. And you wonder why is he getting his ass kicked. That's why he's getting his ass kicked,
Yeah, it's so much happening.
It's too much. Everybody's looking for that one simple answer, and it's not. This shit is a master plan to have people the way they are.
Yeah,
And they measure their success on chaos.
yeah.
How do we know we making money? The checks coming in, how do we forecast it? Because it's chaos.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't see any, we got to create some.
Yeah, real talk.
So unless somebody's willing to really go into that, it's not going to happen, And by the time we catch up to speed, they done changed the rules, and it's something else.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? That culminated with a bunch of other stuff. What do you think about the change of affirmative action?
The change.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is that they ruled that affirmative action now is not a part of the situation. And going into well, they're talking about not funding the HBC schools, talking about Clarence Thomas and them voting against affirmative action, where it's they abolishing that. What's your thoughts on that, brother?
Yeah, you got some black Republicans and black Supreme Court judge and black folks that feel like that affirmative action is like something that we should have never got. We don't need, even though they benefited from it. You got some motherfuckers in office in position to speak highly about their master.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna protect their master's position because their master got them in the house instead of the field.
Right.
And the minute you start acting otherwise, nigga, you going in the field. And that's their biggest fear. We are so busy as a people trying to be socially and economically and any other kind of way acceptable to white folks. We're trying to behave or get a status that we could be in the room with them, that we could be standing next to them and be put on the same level as them and all of that shit. No. I don't give a fuck what you do. You still going to be considered to them a nigga. Yeah. When you're not in the room, when you're not around, they are talking about you like a simple nigga and can't believe that you actually doing this shit to your own people. Because they're not doing it to theirs.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to take care of them, yeah.
But they getting you to side with their bullshit. I mean, like reparations. I saw this thing where Dr. Phil was on talking about reparations. He did a show on reparations and invited some people on to speak about it. And he was just supposed to provide the forum for them to talk. But he decided he wanted to weigh in on it. And the guy did the math based on some professionals that deal with economics. They gave a number of what reparations should look like to every African-American descendant of slaves. And the number came to something like $550,000 per person. And Dr. Phil said, if you give people that kind of money, it's going to cause chaos.
Yeah.
And this is a motherfucker whose career was created by a black woman, Oprah Winfrey. If it wasn't for Oprah Winfrey, nobody know who the fuck Dr. Phil was.
Yeah. Dr. Oz, too. She
Dr.
put on
Oz, Dr. Phil, and all of those motherfuckers is pro-Trump and, down with that whole program that they don't think we deserve nothing. The Japanese got reparations. Yeah. The American Indians got reparations. Reparations is in effect in the form of lawsuits. A lawsuit is a reparation. When you can identify where somebody wronged you, you go to court and you sue based on the evidence. The evidence is all in front of us. So you're telling me that I can't get reparations? Now, regardless, and this is the crazy shit. This is the craziest shit about reparations. The fucking white folks that had slaves got reparations for their slaves.
Mm-hmm.
In 1862, Lincoln, I believe, is the state of
Hey, Rich, hold that thought. Let me just read something. A suburb of Chicago has become the first governmental body to start paying reparations to qualifying Black residents in what is being seen as a test for the whole country. Evanston has already paid 16 locals for it, from a $10 million package first approved in 2019. The Evanston Roundtable said Monday. by the end of the year, the reparations committee expects to have paid 25,000 each. 25,000 each. What is 25,000 right now? I mean, it may pay 2 credit card bills or one. 25,000 each.
Yeah,
To
that's
a
that's
hundred.
that's 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 some bullshit right there. Because like
Right.
I just told you, the brother got on and did the economic thing and said that figure actually would be 300, not 300, 500 something $1,000 per person. So if a state is saying, okay, well, we'll give you 25 and you get a couple of ignorant motherfuckers that is going to jump on that, they'll say debt paid. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
if
because
you throw that out there, they figure, hey, we not going to get shit. They ain't going to give us shit. But if they say they'll give us 25, take the 25.
yeah, because I mean, think about it.
This has to be something that's done across the board and looked at just like this brother did and come up with the correct number. Now, if you gave people $500,000 and everybody got that, sure you're gonna have some motherfuckers that's gonna take that money and throw it up in the air, right? But you still gonna have people in position to help themselves. Who are you to decide what somebody does with their reparations? You got
Yeah,
motherfuckers that hit lotto all the time and spend all the money. You got motherfuckers that get money and spend it. Okay, but you can't say I'm not going to give it to you because I'm scared what you're going to do with the money that I owe you. Get the fuck out of here.
yeah,
What kind of shit is that?
yeah. Let me
What
just
what
read
you
this
just
question.
said is that they got some other shit in brewing where they're going to give you peanuts to settle for reparations.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like Sharon said, everybody here um, about the 3 survivors of the Oklahoma massacre who lost their lawsuit for reparations as a result of the massacre. That was crazy. And I have a friend of mine that law firm is handling that, and they was just telling me they was just they're going to appeal, but they don't want to pay them for being part of, I think, the Black Wall Street and stuff like that, the Oklahoma massacre. And you know, I just got a question from my Capricorn sister Doris. She was saying, "Is reparations tax free? Because if they're not, 25,000 going to turn out to be 16. You know what I'm saying, or 17.5.
Well, and that's all in the negotiations of reparations. You got to be able to say, hey, how you going to tax? The government going to tax you. That means they want some money back from the money they giving you. That's some bullshit.
Yeah,
You know? And my personal opinion, we need reparations not just in the form of monetary. We need reparations in the form of property.
yeah, yeah,
Just like the so-called American Indian, indigenous people of this continent,
yeah,
they got land. You know,
yeah, yeah,
that's the kind of deal we need. We need some fucking states.
yeah,
Give us some states. You know, give us Georgia. We need a state in every part of this country where we were that instrumental in building what it is. You got states, Montana, Wyoming, that's got nothing but land. Give us that shit.
yeah,
And then give us that money to set up some infrastructure, set up a government, our own government, where we'll have our own hospitals, our own schools, our own universities, our own military, our own police force, our own financial institutions. They ain't gonna do that. You know why? Because we be some scary motherfuckers with that kind of power.
yeah, yeah. Real talk, real talk.
And the creativity and the genius that black folks have, we won't need nobody. Motherfuckers need us.
Yeah,
Everybody that comes to this country targets us to make wealth. I don't give a fuck who they are. The first people they target is us.
yeah,
The kind of money that we spend, the money we get in and we spend outside of our circle creates a cage for us.
Yeah.
We don't have a circle. We have a cage.
And that cage is official. We can't get out of it. We
It's
can't get
like
out of it.
it's just like the spots back in the days where you walk up to the door, you knock on the door, and the peephole comes open, and you stick your money through the hole, and they put something back out. You don't even know what the fuck that is. You don't know who even made it or gave it to you, but you trusting it's what you paid for.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how we spend our money as a culture around this motherfucking country.
Yeah.
We sticking our money through a hole where there's fucked up food, where there's fucked up everything.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about it.
No, and that's real talk. Everybody, that's Richard Williams. I'm Bill Forster. Thank you for chiming in with us on a Wednesday. Don't forget the Beautiful People Brunch Party this Saturday. You know, it's the 3rd and the 1st of every month. This weekend, we'll definitely be having T-Rock and DJ Danny D, hosted by yours truly, and a shout out to Assorted Flavors. Subscribe to us, please, on YouTube. If you're watching us on Facebook, share it. The only place where you get this kind of conversation, I mean, besides the powers that be, but on a scale that I am right now, I'm trying to get to that point just to keep being informative, and I'm gonna do it with the help of my brothers right here and stuff like that. Like Mark asked a question. He said, like Doris said, what happened to our 40 acres and a mule? Mark also says, that was Doris that said that, but Mark said, why isn't the Holocaust isn't perceived as serious like our Jewish brothers? Thoughts, comments on that, Rich?
You know why? Because Jewish people will tell you in a heartbeat, never forget. You know, never forget what happened to us in 4 years. But you motherfuckers can forget what happened to you in 400 years, and still ticking.
Yeah.
Right? And then you get other black people to tell another black person, oh, slavery's over. Oh, don't blame the white man. Oh, you know, all of that shit. They tell you forget about that. Right? Matter of fact, go get you a white man, go get you a white woman. Forget about that. You know? Yeah. And that's acceptable to us. What happened to the Jews in Germany was horrific. But that shit on the scale of what happened to us was nothing.
They want us to forget our past, and that's what's so sad.
But you know something else, Bill? People don't even know that in Germany at that time there were black Jews.
Right.
The Jewish people were actually black people. These are converts. These Europeans converted to that. They didn't have to put stars of David on the black Jews. They just killed them.
Yeah.
Because whether you was a Jew or not, you was getting killed.
Yeah, and you know what's so sad? I mean, I think about it. For some, they still reap the benefits of the slave mentality, even if they'll say, "Well, I'm not racist," but you reap the benefits on your perception and how you view things. Because the bottom line is, we are fighting a cause. Just like I was talking to the doctor. Right now, they're trying to do something, or I don't know, it's in motion, where my cousins, to be honest with you, one was telling me that right now, when you go to the doctor in regards to the LGBT community, you can't say breastfeeding anymore. They say chest feeding. Yeah. Now and now this is already implemented, Rich. This is already implemented. And then they were talking about the vagina was supposed to be called a bonus hole.
Called what?
A bonus hole.
A bonus hole. The vagina.
Yes. So because they didn't want to offend anybody, a trans parents parenting. So like my thing is, we can't even get things. We can't even get lynching to be a rate hate crime. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
we can get that if they say no lynching a transgender.
Yeah, yeah, that's real talk. That's real talk. Yeah, yeah, that's real talk, brother. That's real talk. You know what I'm saying? But it's, and the same is like I like, you know, you want our people, and I say our people that we know that may be who they are and whatever their preferences are to get what they want, but don't hold us back. You know what I'm saying? Like it seemed like you running in a race like a cartoon or a movie, a horror movie, and you running down a hall and you running as fast as you can, but everything is moving, but you're not moving. It seems like that's what's happening to us. And then I've had people say, well, you black people killing black people are doing this. You're your worst enemy. You know, like listen,
Like white people not killing white people, like
e-
Asian people not killing Asian people.
exactly.
You
It's
ever
just
heard
not
of the
promoted.
Yakuza?
Yeah,
You ever heard of the Yakuza? You ever heard of Russian
absolutely.
mob?
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
all. I don't give a fuck where you come from. You got bad guys, and these bad guys, they don't give a fuck who they kill. They target their own people. So don't give
I'm
me
telling
that
you from a
bullshit.
law enforcement standpoint.
Italians killed Italians.
Exactly.
So don't give me that bullshit.
Right.
I
Right.
don't even want to have that conversation with motherfuckers that talk about, well, we killing our own people. Motherfucker, everybody's killing their own people.
Yeah.
The bad people target their own people first. You're an officer of the law. You know that most homicides are committed by people that you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just about to say that.
So don't give
You,
me that bullshit about, oh, we only kill our motherfucking killers kill their own people.
yeah. Yeah. You listen from a psychological standpoint and from a law enforcement theory. You covet what you see all the time. You covet what you know. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happens, and shame on those that feel like. But the only thing is, the media just portrays us. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't give a fuck what the media portrays
No,
because
I was just
the
saying that. I was
media,
just saying
Bill,
that.
is
Yeah,
not us. The
yeah,
media
yeah,
is not us. You got the media that's spinning the narrative of the people that are causing and affecting what happens to us. They're playing both sides of the narrative. They're creating the problem and they want to be the solution to the problem. And the solution is not a solution. It's to keep this shit going.
yeah. Let me read a comment. Mark said, "Bill, I always say there was an educator from Harlem that my aunt knew. Her name was Abigail Sanford. She went before Congress regarding teaching our history in all schools. They were afraid of a revolution amongst young people. This was 87, 88. Damn. Well, listen, I've always said I feel sorry for the teachers. I give you all props. Let me tell you something. When I worked, and Rich, I give you applaud too for working in the board of education and stuff like that. Because when I worked in the charter schools and the board of education, stuff like that, I couldn't believe it. I went home every day. I had a drink because I was like, them little kids is bad as shit. I was ready to tee off on the parents because I was like, I I had to let them know, like, yo, little boy, little girl, uh-uh, act accordingly. Put your skirt down, close your blouse. Young boy, act like a young man, not like a little savage running around here screaming and hollering. I say all that to say they always start our history. If we're going to talk about a scale from 1 to 10, we're starting at 7. You're starting it from slavery. You're not starting. The only thing they teach in school. I don't know anybody that's still in the board of education. I mean, but if they still teaching the shit that I learned back then, the Nina the Pinta and the Santa Maria and Martin Luther King, and we heard about Malcolm X, and you may learn about Frederick Douglass, but otherwise than that, it's Noah's Ark and the rest of the crew. You know what I'm saying? The Civil War, but they ain't teaching you about no Christopher Columbus and how he pilfered the Indians and stuff like that. I yield back, Rich. Go ahead, man.
Hey man, listen again. We are living in a situation where white folks have controlled the narrative on how we perceive our own incarceration. You know, they take the few and make it where they become spokespeople for white folks, but they're black folks. You know, we are so ignorant through our educational process. I mean, you look at all the other cultures; they really are taught through their culture. You know, they're taught everything. They're taught economics. They're taught their religion that's incorporated in their education. I mean, they promote unity in their culture. You know, it ain't really about hating on somebody else. If you say, "Hey, I just like my own people," you know, these things are promoted in every culture. No culture wants somebody from outside of their culture mingling with their women and all that shit. We're the only ones that welcome that shit and want to go in and accept that shit. And the ones that cross over to us, they don't even want to bring us home to their parents. You know,
Yeah. Real
they're
talk.
not bringing us home because
Yeah.
they know they're going to be excommunicated. You're gonna be excommunicated.
Yeah. I
No,
laugh.
motherfucker,
I laugh.
that generational wealth. Look at fucking the fucking English, the English over there. Fucking uh, uh the black chick that
Meghan Markle and all the crew.
married
Yeah.
Prince Harry and shit. He's excommunicated. You're
Yeah.
not gonna give this shit to that black girl.
Yeah. They was like this. Really? Like
Yeah,
that's what you're
that's
doing?
not gonna happen. You know,
Yeah.
everybody was all excited. Oh, it's a black girl. That's a princess now. Nigga, please.
But
Take the hell to the no.
she was on TV. She was repping shows as like a white girl. She
Yeah.
got black when that shit when she went over there. She was like, oh, okay,
Listen.
Black Power, Ungawa. I'm
Yeah,
calling my
man.
people. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Whenever you think you've arrived into that room, I'm acceptable now. You know, I'm not black. I'm Malaysian and yo,
Ah,
hey,
shit.
listen. You ever see that shit? That skit that Dave Chappelle did when he was drafting the race draft,
I'll
and
look
they
it up. I'll
and
look
they
it
was
up. Yeah.
drafting different motherfuckers that was biracial motherfuckers. We'll take Tiger Woods in the first round.
Yeah.
Yo, if you ever get a chance, man, look at that episode of the Chappelle Show where that nigga's drafting racists and shit.
I'm gonna look it up. I'll have that answer for you later on tonight
Yo,
or
that shit is
tomorrow.
crazy. Hey,
Yo,
but Bill, man, I hate to do it, man, but I gotta check out, man. I
oh
gotta
no, brother, check out, brother. I appreciate you. Give the people some positive affirmation. And Mark had a question for you. He said, "Were you familiar with Miss Sanford? Did you ever hear of her in Harlem?"
Miss Sanford.
Yeah, what she was talking about, that she went before the Congress regarding teaching our history in all schools. They were afraid of the revolution against young people. This was in 87, 88.
No, I'm not familiar with her.
Mhm.
Not me, not at all. But
Yeah.
I,
But
I
Rich,
don't doubt that was done. You know,
oh no. He
and
wasn't
that fight
asking.
is still being fought. That fight is still being fought.
Yeah.
It's
Yo,
not
bro,
over.
go
And
ahead,
like
man.
they always
Enjoy
say,
yourself,
the
man.
revolution will not be telecast.
Yeah. Yo, enjoy yourself. I love you, bro. I'll talk to you later on,
My
man.
brother.
All right, everybody. That's Richard Williams. Wish him a happy birthday. Give him some hearts for his birthday.
Thank you.
He's 35 years old. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And that was Richard Williams, everybody. Yeah, this is Bill Forster. Mark, he said, yeah, Bill, like yours said, we don't have the blank skills like others. Not saying we're not qualified, but seems like some of our kids want to be a sound engineer. We need more plumbers and electricians building etc. Exactly. Yeah, HBDTU. I think you're trying to say the HBCU schools. Lucky. Um, Shout out to Rich for his birthday. I'm glad he chimed in with us. You know, everybody, listen. Sometimes enough is enough. Like, how do we get back to what we had? If you're my Facebook friend, you notice I post a lot of growing up in the past segments, memes and stuff like that. Because, what's so funny, and they get a lot of love. But are you doing that with your children or your grandkids? I've heard people say, I don't want to hit my kids, and I get it. But where's the level of respect instilled so you don't have to hit your kids? Maybe it might be that, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, mommy, daddy's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that way when you give them the look that we got when we was younger. Because let me tell you something, it just took one ass whipping. I mean, me, I've had multiples. Guess I was a little hard headed. But I'll tell you. But it took some of you maybe one ass whipping. Uh, I went down different roads. I tried different shit. So the ass whipping got different. Um, but once the fear was instilled in you, you understood there's no fear instilled in any of these children. Let me tell you something. When I start my dialogue with these children, I have to let them know, like, yo, when I speak at these schools and colleges and stuff like that, well, colleges, I don't have to get that energy. But when I speak at these schools, I have to let them know, like, yo, I'm not getting paid. Like, or if I am, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not getting paid. I'm You're not going to talk to me any kind of way. I'm not the teacher, the dean, or the principal. I'll punch you in your mouth. And kids is looking at the dean and the teacher like, yo, you gonna let them talk to us like that? And they're like, yo. I was like, you get your mommy and daddy, get anybody you want. I said, we're gonna start this off with respect. I'm like Coach Carter and Joe Clark in this joint. Like, we're gonna have some love. And it's beautiful. It's good energy because respect is given, respect is due. Um, so we just have to definitely find a way to make very true, Gary. Shout out to my man Gary. He said, not everyone knows how to balance love and respect. Absolutely. We got to find that balance. Again, grandparents should not be raising children. It's their job. Our job's to spoil. It's not our job to, unless you're raising children to help your child better themselves. I'm co-signing all that. I'm putting a signature on all that. That's a village. Now, but if you're talking about you want to go hang out with Pookie and Ray Ray or Sharon and no disrespect to Sharon, saying I'm just using names, and you want to go hang out and you at the bar every night instead of raising your child, no bueno. I don't co-sign that. I don't co-sign that for any nationality. Maritza, Carmen, uh, Camille. I don't co-sign that for any nationality. A parent should be a parent. Raise your child with some morals, some ethics, some scruples, and we'll get back to hopefully it may not. Well, listen, it's probably not going to be here while in our lifetime, so maybe we'll not see it, and that's why people are packing and running because people don't want to put up with it. They don't want to put up with it. You know, a lot of the people my age, we're not living in fear, but we're living in caution. Our swivel game is crazy right now. Shouldn't be like that. Thank you, Lucky. Yeah, man, that sunroof and a little sun, that vitamin D got a brother looking, you know, bringing out my Indian roots or my Caribbean roots. Even though I'm not from the Caribbean descent, technically that I know of, I'm a Southern boy. Um, what's up, John Cross? I see you. So let's all try to be better people. The first Monday of the month is Assemblyman Al Taylor. The second Monday of the month is Dr. Marilyn Corder. The third Monday is First Lady of Def Jam, Allison Williams. the fourth Monday is Malika and I. You're fostering the moment with the Forsters. And oh, I hear her in the background. Hi. The pity pat of her feet. And every Wednesday, we bring in the cop crews. And like I always say, people are always welcome to come and chime in with us. Like I said, we're setting up this call in thing so you can call in and say your feelings and things like that. Barbara, yeah, I see you. Yeah, shout out to Rich that joined in with us for his birthday. I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you. The summer is a little harder. The Saturday, where I'm going to be at the Beautiful People Brunch Party. Yours truly, hosted by yours truly, and then giving shout outs to Assorted Flavors, DJ Danny D, T Rock. Shout out to Row House on 115th and 8th Avenue. Come by, smoke a cigar, have a cocktail or two. You know what I'm saying? It's a brunch thing. If you want reservations, go to opertable.com and see if they're there. Usually they're not. We're doing this the first and the third of every month. Shout out to all the people celebrating birthdays. Richard, my man Kev, Pretty Eyes Kev. Shout out to Lorraine Kitchen. These are people that I'm calling off the top of my head. All of you cancers will be celebrating Greer's birthday coming up. So just shout out to all the cancers, all the beautiful people out there. I wish you all a wonderful evening. I am going. Oh, loving God, you put up some scriptures. I don't know what they are. You didn't put them, the meaning of them, but just for real talk's sake, he put up 1 Samuel 16:7, and then he also put up. I saw that of the scripture. Where was it? Matthew 10:33. King James. Both Bibles from King James. So I'll say it again. Matthew's 10:33. I don't know what he was trying to tell anybody. And 1 Samuel 16:7. King James. Everybody, I'm Bill Forster. It's Wednesday. Be careful. Be safe. I appreciate you rocking with me. Gary, I'll see you Saturday if you're coming by. Condolences to my man Vance. He just lost his mother. Wonderful woman. So no matter what you're going through, the good, the bad, believe in your higher power. And hopefully that gets you to another level, gets you to the next day. Because that's all we need is the next day. Next day. And then there's something to believe. As long as you believe in something, it motivates you to the next day. See you later. Force of the moment, real talk, positive vibes only. I'm out. Peace. Johnny Cross, my old partner. I see you, baby. Talk to you in a minute.